Alright, so just a few problems I've been having with Smite recently, and I'm just gonna go over it off the top of my head. And I'm probably gonna make a few like smaller videos on them, just going more in depth on the topics that I'm gonna be covering. But mainly this is just a letter to the devs of Smite and just a few things that doesn't quite make sense to me, if you will, or just I think that could be changed to better Smite. So first off, let's start with the item system. I think obviously it's no surprise right now that tanks are fairly strong, or especially in tanks as in bruiser tanks that are building one or two damage items and then going full defense. I think that's a main contingent point that to me is probably the problem because I'm fine if you're going full tank and no bruiser items like Glad Shield, Pridwin, Rune Forge Hammer, all the regular offenders, the repeat offenders. I'm more thinking about like I want a tank to be a tank, right? They absorb damage, and I'm fine if they're hard to kill. They can be hard to kill, but they should not kill me at the same rate I'm killing them, right? I feel like that's where we get to a problem. And I don't think that might not necessarily be an item problem. I think that's more of a god problem. Like for example, you have Achilles. Achilles has a very busted kit. He gets 40 protections, I think, max level, something like 43, I think, 45, something around there. Protections. Why? Just base out. If he's is in armor stance, he gets 48 protections or 45 protections plus his two. So are we really trying to sit here and say that is okay for the game balancing? One that Achilles is overtuned, but that's another thing. But I think that's just most warriors in general. I think most warriors are just overtuned because of how they play. And if a warrior is played in soul lane, it doesn't feel as oppressive. Why? Because where they're really strong is early game and mid game. But they're often soul lane, so they don't feel as strong when they're testing them because they're not playing these warriors in the jungle. They're not playing these warriors in support where like they can actually make a lot of impact a lot earlier. They're playing them in soul lane when they're testing them, and they don't understand that their kits are just fundamentally broken, and they just have to be. If you look at any warrior's kit, Hercules, it's the reason why he rampaged in the jungle. Achilles, it's the reason why he's rampaging right now. Thor with aspect, it's a reason why he's rampaging. Even Thor in general is rampaging just because he has a more of a warrior style kit. That's what his kit was originally meant to be. He was a warrior at first, and he reworked him into being an assassin. It's the reason why these are like the high offenders, and why you don't see your Aladdins anymore as much. Why you don't see your Willix as much anymore. Why you don't see. I was about to say Nemesis. I haven't seen Nemesis at all. Literally her whole entire time. Like it's just in general their balancing of gods is bad. Their balancing of items is a little bit off. I think items is. I'm gonna wait to hold major judgment. I know they're making a rework to it in OB8, I believe, or the next patch that's coming up with Kali. So I know they're gonna put a little bit of a rework into the item system. So I'm not gonna go too hard onto that. But secondly, I think the pricing of stuff can be a little bit deceiving. Um, And I mean that overall as just the whole Smite in general. Because originally, like legacy gems were supposed to be 50% off of everything. That I don't know if that's the exact words they use when marketing it, but that's the feeling that they were giving, right? They were like, okay, yeah, everything in the game, pretty much everything in the game is going to be 50% off. You know, at the point where it's 50% off, yes. And even then, there's some caveats with that because they inflated gym pricing, and they're gonna say it was because we found that this was actually better for players. In terms of no, it's not. You could have done the same thing, but keeping the pricing at least a little bit more similar, not just outright doubling it. I believe it's what it is now. So the prices of gem or diamonds are a lot inflated compared to gems, and that just makes your gems. So really, you're paying if you get the founders pack, you're just trying to get the still half the value of the gems. Like it's actually insane how they actually did it and how they made it seem. And I don't give them too much crap for it because in general that's still very nice. But don't just lie. They didn't lie, but they lied. Like oh you're gonna get 100% of your purchasing power back. It's not really if it's inflated money, right? Go to I guess I'm in America, so I don't really know I know EU used to have a little bit stronger of a currency, but I don't know if it's still like that now. I don't know. The world is in a very weird place after these tariffs happen from Trump. Very weird place. Bro, gas has been going up so much. It's not even funny. I remember when, because I get gas from Costco, and it's like $2 and it was $2.68, bro. When I go to a regular gas, and the regular gas station at that time was like $3 max, a little bit higher if you're by the interstate, obviously, and then lower to like $2.98, 95 cents, somewhere around there, from that range, $2.95, bro. The last time I saw it, it was $3.17. What do you mean? Trump, please stop. Anyways, I got a little off track. But in general, the pricing, it can be a little bit weird with how they marketed it. And it kind of is like a sense of, I get that you're a business, but like you don't have to lie. Well, I guess you had lying would just gives you more money, right? That's the same thing with clickbait. That's the same thing with all these companies that are like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and then they just do the exact opposite because they know there's always gonna be a small percentage of player base that does not care what whales, right? Whales are always gonna buy into the whatever you do because that's just they just have money to spend and they want to spend it on the game, and that's completely fine and valid. And a lot of games just find themselves market or more so not marketing, but pricing things towards them and not really towards the average player. Because right, the average player in a free to play game doesn't spend that much money. Most, I think they said like 80% of their player base doesn't spend money, so it's up to the other 20%. But in general, just once again, gym pricing was a little bit not even a little. It just was factually scummy that they did it like that, and that now there's things that are diamonds only, especially the prism. The prisms are so stupid because they had a color forward system in Smite where every color you can get it, blah blah blah, and you didn't have to pay for the colors at all. Literally, you just got them for free. You got them for free, and then now you have to not only pay for colors. And I'm fine. I understand that I'm fine with you having to pay for the colors, but I think it should be three 300 diamonds for all the colors. That to me that's or 400 diamonds for all the colors, 100 diamonds for each color. That to me sounds fair because it's not like it's not like you're having to go back and make that skin again because you want to pay for the work that is being done. The work that's being done is because now they on an individual level are looking at these skins and being like, okay, what color palette would fit really well with this? It is what they said. I haven't really looked at it and like seen if it's like any different from the color forge, but the color forge skins were a lot more it was kind of hit or miss, but they did a lot of colors so you could find a color that was match what you wanted. So even then it's like it's weird that the color forge system was a lot more friendlier, and now we're making the prism system, which is basically that system but more limited in your colors but a little bit more specialized. Like agrees like if there truly are making like strides into like really making sure the color scheme matches very well with it, then okay, that's one thing. But even then, I still don't think it should be what the Sonic one gets more expensive as you go down the list. So it's 300, 500, 700, 900 for the last skin. Why am I paying 900 for a cooler? I'm gonna say how the European cooler. No, my bad. Reculer. Why am I paying 900 gems for a recooler? And it's not and you already own this skin. So in general, it's a lot that it it's whatever. It doesn't matter. Same thing with the color names. I get it's a supporter store, but 25 or 35 bucks for it. Come on, man. Like I understand not wanting to sell it individually. I completely get that, right? You're still a business at the end of the day, right? Let's make smart business decisions. People are only going to buy one color that they like, and if the color is $5, then you're going to make less money just factually because now people are only buying one skin for $5 or one color for $5, and not as many people are going because you're right because you have to as a business you have to find what is the perfect medium between me pricing it as high as I can, and having as many customers buy it as possible. Where you kind of like toe that line of like supply and demand, obviously. Like, how much can I price this up and get the same return or get a good return? It's kind of like what Five Guys does. Five Guys, not everyone is going to buy Five Guys, and probably Five Guys to me is like I probably get it once a month, once or twice or 3 times a month. I like Five Guys personally. I'm fine with paying the little extra price for a pretty good burger, but that's the same burger that you can make at home. You're just paying not to have to um make the burger, pretty much. Like, because the Five Guys burger, the reason why it's good, side note, they don't. I asked them, do they season their burger? The dude said no, we don't season our burger. Besides, like, I don't know if he said what it just comes with, or he just says that no, we don't season it at all. But the reason why it tastes so good is the bread. I don't know what bread they're using, what they're doing to the bread, what kind of chemicals are in that bread, but whatever they're doing, oh my gosh, give me some more of that. Because I think one day I was like eating it, I was like, there is no seasoning on this. Because but it's still so good. Why? It's the bread. That bread is, it's insane. Anyway, secondly, where are we on to next? Talked about the prices. What else I want to talk about? Hold on, let me think for a second. That's what it was. It was matchmaking. Okay, so let's get this right out of the way real quick. I don't think matchmaking is horrible anymore. I think it's actually fairly okay. I don't think I've had any crazy matches. But it is no way that in the beginning at all, they were matchmaking. One, they didn't even have a matchmaking in the game when they first released ranked in like the open alpha or the alpha. Yeah, the close in the alpha testing. What do you mean you don't have any kind of matchmaking except no, it was except for let's make these matches, these lobbies even, and let's see how it goes. And by even, I mean, no, wait, was it even? No, it wasn't even. It was literally no matchmaking, actually. No, sorry, scratch that. They didn't do that until like a little bit later, where they added like a little bit of matchmaking to make sure you're just not playing against straight bronzes. But why is there a DD player playing against a bronze player? Yeah, yeah. What are we doing? Are we actually like genuinely brain dead? Can we not process how stupid that is? And they were like talking about, oh yeah, we want it to be match make off of your role, how good you are. Oh, you know how some people are better at jungle. Okay, so what is your mid SR? I was like, okay, this is brilliant. This is exactly what we need. It is approximately 6 months later, and we still don't have any of that. No, my bad, 8 months later, and we don't have any of that. We have no matchmaking off a role. They don't even know what role you're going to play until they put you into the match. Like literally, like milliseconds before you get into that match, they don't know what role you're playing. They even admitted this on the Titan Talk. I think they just did. What they do is they gather you up. Oh, here's a group of 5 people. Okay, we need a group of other 5 people to play against these people. Okay, let's get this group of 5 people. Bam, you're in a match. We don't really know what you're gonna play. So let's see. Top SR, you get your role. Okay, you're jungle. Okay, top SR on this team. Okay, you're support. You go support. Second SR. Let's see. How many times have you played your top role? You played it last match. Okay, so you're just gonna get your bottom role. Fuck you. Let's give you support on that team. Let's give you carry on this team, and then fuck it. Just match make it by the freaking you get your role by how good your SR is. Which, what? You're telling me y'all were talking about making it to where you can match make and put people in each role to where they're similar skill level to the person in the role. And I think that would actually change rank a lot because it wouldn't have these blowouts that happen in the first minute. Bro, hold on. Hold on. I need to look at this because let me go to Tracker GG real quick. Because this was actually insane. This was actually insane. This isn't even BM. Again, people have bad games. People are just gonna be worse than another player. Brother, hold on. Can I pull this up? I don't think I have face cam on a window, but let me window capture media player. Frick. Which one is it? So this one? Okay. Look at this. This is insane. This is insane. Oh, ignore all the tabs. I was trying to make a Aladdin thumbnail for the video that just went up. Check it out if you want to. But look at this. This dude went 1-11 against a demigod player. And he's master 3, right? One, first of all, they have 3 master 3 players. This fucker, this this fucker right here is a deity player playing like he's lost his left shoe. I don't even know what that means, but you get the point. He's playing like he has no hands. He played chalk mid, and dude, I don't even know how much damage did he do. He did top damage in the game, to be fair. But one, Nemesis really fucking sucks, bro. I was trying my hardest to carry this game. I could not. I ganked duel and I give him 2 early kills. You see the Bari's four deaths in the whole entire game, and Afro's 1. That was because I ganked early. 2 of her deaths and 1 of her deaths. They had the perfect start. I think the Rama died to it. I want to say he either died or backed off and back to base. One of the two. So he had a perfect start, near perfect start, basically perfect start. If this dude is not one, he's also on Bari, so I guess I don't even think I was top pick. But if I was, I don't ban Bari because I think she's very easy to gank. But when you have Afro, it's a little bit harder, and also when your Rama's 1-11 and your Sobek's 1-10. But yeah, right. If they could balance this dueling a lot better, like at all, like I guess technically the dueling is balanced, but the roles are not balanced, and I think there is a little bit more weight to how do you say I think depending on the character you pick, it can differentiate how much impact each role has. Because like a Sobek in support, I think has a lot more determines a lot more of the lane than a Rama does. Unless you're just a really good player, right? Then obviously you counter that. But in general, my dual lane fed so hard. So hard. My chalk fed pretty hard. Yes, he has top damage, but he's also a chalk that's inting when he gets a chance to. My Hades did pretty good. I did okay. I was doing pretty good, but then it's kind of hard to do good when mid laner's 12-0. There's a Bari attached to an Afro 24/7. Like I did what I could this game, but the general thing is I know you can't see me. Let me go back to the face cam. In general, the thing is I'm just tired of it. Man, this supposed to be a letter to the devs. I don't know, matchmaking, it's not where I think it should have been. I think it's a lot better now. Don't get me wrong. This matchmaking was not bad. This was a pretty fair match. It's just my people just played way worse than they should have. And that's gonna happen. People have variance. I don't know why people act like you can't have bad games once you're like a Masters player. No, Masters players are going to have bad games. Why? Because they're playing against another Masters player. They're playing against another deity player. Like it's like I swear, some people have the most brain dead takes. Like it's like saying, "Oh, if you're an NBA player, you have to score 30 points every night because you're the best basketball player. You're in the best basketball league, so you have to be one of the best basketball players." Yeah, you are one of the best basketball players, but when you're playing against another good basketball player, you can't drop 30. That's how you get your Tony Snells. Tony Snell will still mop the floor if you're a casual. But yeah, put him in the NBA, he's gonna go 0-0-0. Yeah, that happens every now and again. Wild. It was wild to think that some people think they could actually take Bronny. That's the reason why you're not in the NBA and they are. Come on now, bro. But anyways, the main thing is just I think the matchmaking could have been better if they just actually put these systems in sooner. And I understand matchmaking is not as simple as grab players that are the same skill level and put them in the lobby. It's a lot more in depth because you're having to run a million of these matches and trying to get the perfect set, perfect set, perfect set. It's a lot harder than it seems. And there's probably maybe 200 people playing Smite rank at one time. I don't actually know, but there's like maybe 10K people playing Smite, and in general, right? Console. I guess, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Peak hours are. I'm gonna just go all peak hours. I think that's when I was playing this, or it was like 10 o'clock. So I'm like, close enough to peak hours, right? So peak is 6,000. Damn, we fell off. I remember when we had like 15K. People were like, "Yeah, that's where we are." I know we peaked at 21,000. All right, you have 6,000 people playing on Steam, so let's just double that and say because half the player base is also on console, so a little bit over. So let's say 13K. Let's make it a nice 13K people are on at any given time, on or not any given time, but at peak hours of Smite. I would bet that half of those players are in arena, half of those players are in joust, half of those players are in assault. Like that's probably half of the player base right there that are in those modes. So you're down to 60,000, and I'm well pretty sure that most people are not playing rank conquest, and just over time because I there used to be a chart of what are the most played game modes in Smite, and I'm pretty sure rank conquest was a lot lower than casual conquest. Let's see if I can find it. Smite play time, I guess. Play time for game modes. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. Yeah, no, um Smite, I'll see. It'd probably be like Smite most um games played of each mode, maybe. That probably makes sense. Yeah, no, I can't find it. But yeah, I can't find it. Anyways, but there was this chart I remember because Duke Sloth pulled it up. And it was like the playtime of like every game mode right next to each other, and it was like, or not game. I don't think it was playtime. I think it was matches played, but arena was at the top because arena matches go the fastest and have a pretty sustainable player base, pretty big player base. And then I think it was Joust because once again, Joust is a very slow or fast paced mode, not slow like Conquest. And then Conquest was under that by like a good margin. Like arena was like all the way past. I don't even know where. And then Joust was like a little bit like 75% of what arena was, and then Conquest was like 50% of what Joust was. Just because there's a lot less. You're in Conquest games a lot longer, and you tend to play less Conquest games than you would arena games. But anyways, still in general, you get the point. I don't know why I'm explaining this to you. You get the point. I forgot where I was. But it's a lot harder to make a Conquest game mode. Next letter to the devs is going to be I can't think of it, and I don't know. So sheesh. I don't know. I kind of went over this one, but it was more for items. Please stop letting things just be bad. You know, like, and what I mean by bad, I mean like, take Odin. He had a one really good time in Smite. I can think of like right. He was really good for like a week, a month maybe in the whole entire Smite 2 time, and just never again he was good because they just don't want to buff him in a way that actually matters. And what I mean by that is like look at his scaling. Half of his physical scaling is it is or like well, on his 3, right? It's split between int scaling on the pulses and physical scaling on the spear. So what do you want to do if you're a physical scaling god? Okay, well if you're going or strength based that game, you don't want to use the pulses. So you want to use one pulse and throw it. Well, if you use one pulse and throw it, you don't get the stun, but right, but you do get the reduced cooldown because I didn't even know it has a reduced cooldown if you throw it faster. I found that out like when I was playing him like well into Smite 2. I was like, wow, you get reduced cooldown? That's crazy. That's insane. That's broken. Right, and that's really good if you're going like glad shield, stuff like that, blah blah blah, like a whole bunch of proc items. That's really good. But what if you're in? Like you don't get to use that. You want to get both pulses out, and even the int scaling isn't really crazy. So it's not like they supplement each other. It's not like, okay, well, if you're physical, you're gonna get like 100% scaling on the spear. No, you're it's like a 50% scaling. Are you kidding me? I'm only getting 50% scaling, and what do you mean? I'm only getting 50% scaling. I should be getting a lot higher scaling because it's only on one part. It's not like that. Because if you look at it compared to old Odin on Smite 2 or Smite 1, that thing has like 100% scaling. I remember before they nerfed the damage in Smite 2, I was literally from minute one, it was it was a pick I was going in rank, and I was win every single game. Not every single game, but like be very dominant every single game, high kills, high damage. Every game I was positive on that pick because I was doing like 1,000 damage at once I maxed out the ability and got like 2 items, because that's how much damage that does, right? If you're investing time in toom toom toom, right, you have to go toom toom toom, a 3-part ability, you need a 3-part reward. You don't need to get the same damage as Nemesis Slice and Dice that takes 2 seconds to go off. And talking about Nemesis, Nemesis is also a shitty god. I'm sorry. Why does she have int scaling? Her int scaling is like 45. She has 45 int scaling on her 2, and she has int scaling for the hill, I believe. Yes, for the hill on her 3. Do you want me to build like did you want me to build int on her? Because only 2 things in her kit scales off int. Maybe her passive does. I haven't looked at the passive, but maybe the passive like gets a lot more prot stolen off int. But that's literally is insane. I don't know how else to put that. That is flipping ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. She is getting 20, 20 scaling on the hill from her shield, and 45 times 2 if you hit in the middle, so 90 on the 2. You're telling me she's scaling only 100%, barely 100% off int? And you want me to build int on her? Why even put int on her? That just makes her a weaker character because she can't scale all things that she's actually going to build. Okay, cool. The health one, I understand. More health, you get more shield. That makes sense. So if you're going tank Nemesis, your shield is going to be a lot better. And that's something that you can actually play around, and that makes sense to actually play around compared to, okay, you're going Nemesis, you're going to get a big heal from your shield. Whoopie doo. Oh, wait, guess what? Fucking if you anti heal her, one, her aspect is dog ass because build anti heal and that aspect does literally nothing unless you have a Rod of Asclepius. I guarantee that is the only reason why she has it. They were like, damn, I gotta feel Rod. And you shouldn't have to build an item for something to be good. That's just my opinion. Because one, you don't want to build Rada Asclepius if you're going a tank build, if you're going a physical build, because her aspect is I think is literally one of the worst aspects. The only time it's good is early game, and after that it's useless. But I'm gonna calm down on this. I'm gonna go next. Just and well, from Nemesis, I'm not gonna stop the point yet because I think it's a very valid point. They leave things bad and don't address it, or they leave things broken and don't address it. Like Achilles, very good. Let's just take the prots. I don't think he's necessarily even doing a crazy amount of damage, but it's the fact that he's doing a crazy amount of damage and he is unkillable because why? He's getting 45 prots from his passive. That's just not okay. No other passive is doing that, giving you that much value. And he has to execute, and he has this, and he has that. So it very bloated kit in general. Stun, slow, enhancing of stats, execute, baseline prots and or power, either one, and movement speed and health. The health plus the prots is a huge problem because it's giving you what, another 370 health just from having it, and it's just insane. But just make balance changes that would actually change things. Don't just leave things the same for 3 months, especially if it's takes a longer arc of work. I can understand. Fine, okay, like the item changes. I don't expect that to happen in one night or one day because you actually got to realize how is it going to affect the game, and I'm fine with that. But what I do have a problem with is when we're not touching Achilles when it's number changes. If y'all are telling me number changes take more than 30 seconds, you're lying. Because it's literally a fucking slider that y'all probably have. But at least you even said it's a function. No, it's literally just go into the code where it says base damage 45 or 160 base damage. Put down to 100 base damage. 30 base damage. Like it's like you get the point. It's a number change. It's not like, y'all were doing this in Smite 2 or Smite 1 when y'all were mainly focusing on Smite 2. Y'all had one dev, two devs do it, and it was very simple. It probably took them one afternoon. So if it takes you a day to do this balance, just do it right. Do it right the first time so the community doesn't have to keep harassing you about it. I just feel like it's simple. And obviously it's not that simple because you don't want to overnerf the character too much like they did to Aladdin. I think Aladdin is maybe a little bit overnerfed. I think he could do with a little bit of base kit buffs early game. His early game is just a little bit rougher to me than I think it needs to be. But I've been playing a few games this. I mean, I just think, well, I think mainly it's just people learn to beat him more, so he just feels a lot worse. So you just have to realize you need to ult a lot earlier than you think you need to ult because people are now actually being like, oh yeah, I probably should beat Aladdin ult so he doesn't just get a free reset. And now it has damage on it if it does hit. So and you just know it's a lot more predictable of what's going to happen in the fight if you ult earlier on Aladdin. As soon as you use a few abilities, you shouldn't be waiting to get low to use it now, like you were previously. You don't always explicitly need to wait for all your abilities. Just use your two, get the genie charge ready, and then use it in your ult, like stuff like that. Um, what else is something I need to say? Let's pause again. Only other thing I really could say is a little bit more reworking could be nice to a God kit. Like I've made a few reworks. I made one for Achilles that I think was actually a little bit more interesting than what they gave him now, but it was like kind of similar, like increasing the speed of his dash when unarmored and giving him a little bit more like extra stuff when he has armor and to make that decision more prevalent. I think the general focus of the idea was like the ultimate would now be a flat damage execute or would just be flat true damage depending on how much scaling you had to make it more that you don't just use it as an execute for a tank. It's actually more meant for squishies now since your armor off you're supposed to be more of an assassin playstyle. I think also like I forgot what else I did. It was like a whole bunch of changes I did. Um and they weren't just to make him OP. It wouldn't be OP like scaling like, oh yeah, you're doing 900 true damage. It'd be more like you're doing 600 true damage, 700 true damage, and you wouldn't have to build as much pin on him. So it's like your build would be a lot more flexible in nature. And if you did build pin, you still could build pin, but you wouldn't necessarily need to have pin because your ult is still doing 700 base damage, or not base, but like overall damage. What else could I say? Yeah, just rework a little bit more. I actually made a service one I think was actually really cool. I like this aspect. It was I think the aspect they gave him is actually maybe a little bit more interesting. I think I really want an ability that's like a spamming ability where you have it up every 2 seconds, and it's a skill shot that you need to be hitting to reliably doing good on that character. I think that would be a interesting concept because we don't have that concept yet in Smite. I think Merc could actually fit that really well if they gave it like a 2 second cooldown, AoE hit, and it procs your basic attacks. It'll be a lot more interesting. It could even be an auto attack cancel that he doesn't have to do the animation where he does, like that little where he's like invisible, kind of like that flash, I guess you would say. Just rework your characters a little bit more, and then for the good stuff, I think Titan Talk is really good. I do want to say that's like the best thing they've done during this Might 2 process is just being more involved with the community and actually taking feedback or the thoughts of taking feedback. Um, yeah, that's about it. Also, what y'all did to Blink was crazy. Why leave it at 210 for like 2 weeks? It was at 210. So it is unpickable combat Blink. Like, you really took 30 seconds off and thought people were going to buy it. I don't care what kind of experiment y'all were doing. Y'all just took an active out of the game. And the active is still out of the game. Why? Because A is on a 140-second cooldown. B is on a 150-second cooldown. We have to reduce the timer so it's less than those. We have to. But personally, I think it should go down to 120 if you hit someone after the combat blink. It can be like 150 base right next to Aegis and then goes down to 120. Personally, that's what I would like to see done with that item, so people actually want to buy it, because it a lot of characters need a way to engage. Like, to me personally, I was playing Nemesis before, and or like before this, it was like a 2 hours or 3 hours ago. She felt bad because I don't have a way to engage besides using my dash, and my dash has an 11-second cooldown. And if I'm not building full cooldown on her, which she feels like she can't because her 2 only does 400 damage, 500 damage late game, and that's your only damage ability, and then you're just sitting there looking stupid because you use your only damage ability besides your dash. And if you're dashing in, you better be winning that fight, ulting, threeing, shelling if you have shell. I don't know. I don't know. You better be winning the fight. That's all I can say. Yeah, and also it was a little bit skewed because my teammates were just kind of buns. But in general, if Agni has a dash is 16 seconds, he's going to build cooldown. He's you have a 5-second window to punish him and close the distance on him by dashing if you're going to dash engage or dash for damage in general. You have a 5 seconds of engage time, but if he just sits in the tower for the next 5 seconds, then it's like kind of hard because then also he has Aegis or beads, so your slow's not gonna matter. Are already weak CC because I'm pretty sure they weakened it because her ult at rank 5 or like level 5 base level of the ult only slows her 10. It only slows you 10 and not 25 like it used to. I don't. It's like you're nerfing the wrong god. It's like, bro, nerf the actual CC that people don't like. People don't care. Well, sure, some people get mad if they get slowed, but are you kidding me? I would much rather bots not be able to have CC on his 2. Are we, guys? I'm sorry, but like, I don't know. They just ruined Nemesis for me. Nemesis is one of my most played characters in the Smite 1, and it's just kind of feels unplayable sometimes. That's it. I'm done with this. This video went way too long. Um, I'm gonna make more individual videos that are a lot shorter than this, probably like 5 minutes, just pointing out the problems. I don't know. I would put a chapter in here, but this is more just a rant kind of video. I went for 40 minutes. This has taken up like a good 1/25 of my day, and I sleep for like 6 or 8 hours, so really like 1/17, 1/18 of my day. That's fun.